Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
All right. Welcome back to the most mature podcast pertaining to relationship topics. We had to take a little break because Mother's Day was last week. Shout out to all the sisters out there, to all those amazing mothers. But I'm your host, relationship advisor, author Tramel Lawrence. I am here with my brother, my ace, my partner, the accountability coach, Carl. How you feeling, my man?
Doing amazing, brother. Doing amazing, man. Enjoying the weather. Just enjoying life, man. No complaints, man. No complaints.
Man, I feel you, man. And listen, man, this whole thing, to those that are watching YouTube, and make sure you hit that subscription button, because if you want to be a part of the DBDS family and enjoy these nuggets and enjoy all these jewels and these amazing guests, please follow us. We greatly appreciate that. Also, you see that Carl and I is rocking the DBDS shirt. Listen, if you want to get yourself a shirt, if you want to get yourself a mug, make sure you head to our website, Dear Brothers, DearSisters.com. That is the official site dedicated to healthy and monogamous relationships. So make sure you get yourself one. Also, as I mentioned, Mother's Day just passed. So a special shout out to all my, I would say, feminine mothers out there celebrating that day with their loved ones. And if you notice, Carl, I use the word feminine, pertaining to our sisters who are soft, the ones who are nurturing, the ones who are confident that they don't need outside validation and have those values. And Carl, some may say that values are basic, but today I believe those basic things are unique and very attractive. And I just want to get your thoughts on that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's why I keep telling people, especially a lot of men as I talk to them, what is an individual's values? What is her character? And, beauty is wonderful. Body is great. But if they don't have any character or values, you're all you're doing is setting yourself up for destruction. And I think a lot of people today need to really understand those different things. And then vice versa, for women, you see a man, he looks good and all this other stuff, and he's got money. What is his character? What is his values? Because values and character is core. It's who you are at your core. Right. And if that's who you are at your core, no matter what else you have, it's going to work out, because it doesn't matter where a person is at in life at this point in time. But if they have quality values and the characteristics of a person that you're looking for, give them a chance. You just don't know what's going to happen at that point in time. Instead of going for somebody whose character is shady.
Yeah. Well said, man. Well said. And before we came in, I mean, we talked about, character coming first and everything like that. So this is why we admire women who embrace their feminine essence. So the kind of woman that displays those selfless traits and so forth, who don't feel entitled to everything, which brings us to our topic today. And today we are going to touch on why reciprocating can build a healthy relationship. And Carl, we been telling this topic was a long time coming, because there are those who do feel entitled and don't put in mutual effort to their significant partner. And when that happens, the resentment occurs, and those building blocks that those two people were invested in begin to crumble, begin to fall down. But my brother, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but have you ever experienced being with someone who did not reciprocate in your relationship, and how did that make you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. And then they got blocked. I mean, I don't waste a lot of time with that. But but yeah, I mean, if I'm doing everything first all the time, text, call, planning, everything, and I know a lot of people say, oh, well, the man's supposed to take the lead and he's supposed to pursue and he's supposed to. No, at that point in time, it feels like you're chasing. And if I'm doing everything and I don't feel like you're reciprocating in any way, shape, or form, why should I waste time? Because to me, it's like I'm wasting time. Time is not. So now I'm giving you something I can't even get back. I'm not worried about the money that's spent, but I'm looking at the time I spent trying to pursue you. But now you are actually causing me to chase you, and that's where that reciprocation comes back in. You don't have to do dollar for dollar what a guy does or whatever. But if a man is doing what you're looking for and he's planning on doing stuff, it doesn't hurt to text first. It doesn't hurt to call first. It doesn't hurt to check in and ask how your day's doing. I think a lot of people miss out on that. Mm-mm. Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulty. We'll be right back with you guys. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, I'm back, brother. I'm back.
All right, there you go.
All right. This is what happens. We apologize. Technical difficulties, but listen, we roll with the punches. That's what DBDS is all about, my man. So, yeah, as you were stating, man, I mean, that whole, when you have that selfish and entitlement attitude, it just turns everything sideways. It turns everything backwards. And that's not healthy for any relationship. Because one person is going to feel like they are in control or feel superior to the next person if they're not fulfilling the other person's needs and vice versa. So, yes, man, I know you stated that you experienced that before, and time is non-refundable, as you were stating, man. And I'll go ahead and let you finish, and we'll continue from that point on.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, this time is not refundable. So I just feel like if you can't do, I mean, and it's not. I always tell people it's about you spending money like he's doing or whatever the case may be. It's just showing appreciation for what that person is doing. Checking in with that person first. They shouldn't have to check in with you first all the time. Even kind of planning something. I mean, it's just little stuff, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people why they miss out because of that. Because again, if you're constantly giving, it's even if you're in a relationship, and like I said, we'll talk about this more. If you're giving and you're not getting, if you're pouring out and then being poured back into, eventually you're going to run out of pouring out. You can't pour out anymore. You're going to be empty. You're going to walk away.
So true. Going to be pouring from an empty cup. Very well said, man. So listen, I appreciate you being vulnerable, and I'm sure the gems that our people will receive today will open up their eyes to naturally provide the same energy or even more towards their loved one. And this may even open up people's eyes, believe it or not. Carl, they may not even realizing that they're not reciprocating enough. So I think this show is going to really help out a lot of people. So you ready to bring our guests into the studio?
Let's bring them on in.
All right. That's what I'm saying. Class in session. So our first guest coming into the DBDS Live studio is a sister who I would say have the credentials and the experience to help our brothers and sisters as she does on a daily basis. And I'm fully confident that the nuggets that she'll share with you today can easily, trust me, can easily be applied so you can become a better version of yourself. So I just want to welcome my good friend, my sister, Nellie Johnson, to DBDS Live.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
It's an honor for you to be on the show, my sister. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
My name is Nellie Johnson, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist living in Las Vegas. And really, I'm on the show because, hey, I'm honored to be part of a show that adds so much value. I have been following you, and your show adds value to the one thing that I'm so passionate about, and that's relationships and giving the people the tools, because there's just a lot of people that just needs the tools that we're sharing here today that you do so well. And you can follow
Oh,
me. Like, if people want to get a hold of me, I'm on Instagram at Ask Nelly.
yeah. Well, thank you, my sister. I've been following you as well, and we greatly appreciate you on the show. And thank you for posting that amazing video on dearbrothersdearsisters.com. It was a great
Yes.
positive message, and we need more sisters such as yourself to motivate and help the masses. So thank you once again for coming on.
So welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And next coming into the DBDS live studio is a brother who is constantly dropping jewels on a regular basis. Listen, I believe that this brother was put on this earth to help people and motivate them. I want to welcome back my good brother, Lamar Wilson, the DBDS live.
What's going on, world? What's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on?
Welcome back, my man. Yes,
Thank you.
man. So absolutely, man. So listen, we have some new viewers coming into the chat. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
I'm from Queens, New York. I'm a certified public speaker. I also specialize in retention students, helping them get back into to the school system or their grades, giving them guidance on their way to their new path, whether that's from junior high school to high school or high school to college, and at this point, college to just life. So I'm here today because I love being here. I love the vibe. I love the energy. I love helping people, and y'all my brothers. So I'm here. I'm looking forward to today and helping someone freeing them up today.
Man, greatly appreciate that, man. It's always good to be around. He's going to use that word, healthy, masculine men. We always hear the term toxic, but it's always good to be around my fellow brothers. Just like, our sisters, is good for them to be around a good sisterhood for emotional support, but to be around great men that are happily married and they practicing what they preaching and everything like that, man, it's an honor, brother. So thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. So listen, man. So let's pivot to our first subtopic related to why reciprocating can build a healthy relationship. And the first one that I would like to touch on is it brings balance to your relationship. I love this picture because it looked like they are balancing each other, right? So my whole thing is, I think it makes sense because if one person, think about it, if one person is doing all the giving, right, and the other person is doing all the receiving, then the relationship is lopsided and it's at the risk for, I would say, dissatisfaction, possibly infidelity, and at risk for combative language, etc. And listen, I believe in order to build a healthy relationship, it's always good to know where you stand in the realm and what's the amount of reciprocation and where you need to improve, So because truthfully, it's not always going to be 50-50. I mean, let's be honest, it's not. Sometimes it may be 70-30, but the basis of reciprocation is that each partner feels emotionally and physically safe with each other. And if those needs are not being fulfilled, then it's always important to re-examine what the issue may be so their significant partner needs are being equally met. So Nelly, listen, everyone has different love languages. So what ways can someone balance their relationship and maintain that spark?
Well, one of the things that it requires is for you to be self-aware of how your partner receives love. And I explain this to women that you can cook and clean all day for your husband, but that's not the way he receives love. You might have to give him words of affirmation, encourage him, say, babe, I love you. Wow, you look so handsome in that shirt. You have to be able to reciprocate in a way that he will receive it. Because sometimes what I see, it's like two ships. Sometimes they want to, but that's why just being aware of how your spouse receive, like what does he need? And words, most men's love language is words of validation, just encouragement. I had a woman and she's like, so you mean I have to stroke his ego? Well, that's a low level of just the way that you just said it. It's, you're framing it really negatively. And if that's what I have to do for my man, like, okay, so be it. You know, we want to keep him happy, but it's really about being aware of how your spouse receives love.
Very well said. I love that. I like what you just stated. And I think staying on the same page in terms of relational goals and values can keep the relationship balanced when things become imbalanced. And yes, I love positive affirmations. Listen, that is so true from my perspective. When my woman tell me that I can do anything, even if I feel like, man, I can't get this book out, I can't focus, and all she has to do is tell me, "Bad." Let me try to imitate it. "Bad, you got it." And listen, I'm like, yo, I feel invincible. You know, it's like it gives me that power. So very well said, my sister. Now, Lamar, man, just tell me, man, do you think open, honest communication is the key to create imbalance? Like if someone's needs is not being met, do you think that can help bring that back to play?
Yeah, I truly believe that if one, you're in a relationship, let's just start with this.
Mm,
Walking into this relationship, walk into this relationship as I want to make sure that I add value to this person's life, vice
right.
versa. As long as two people are coming together to say, I don't see us as 50-50. I see us as I'm doing as much as I can do, and you're doing as much as you can do, and we're coming together on one accord. Yes. It's just like speaking each other love language.
Mm,
Sometimes you got to read the person. And when I say that, I say that person's having a bad week at work. And it's not just cooking. It's not just being intimate. Honest, sometimes it's really just stopping what you're doing, putting the phone on silent, turning the TV off, and saying, let's have this one-on-one conversation. Sometimes men, we got to be vulnerable and just accept, you know what? Let me tell you what it is. And just to have that ear. And women, listen. Don't respond, well, you should do this and you should do. I don't need that. I just need to get it off my chest.
right.
Because what happens is that something I'm holding, something else could be happening. What I'm holding, I'm just adding to there and now I explode. So if we could actually spend time and say, you know what? It looks like he's not having the best week. He's not giving his all. And sometimes I just need to reassure. Oh, come on. I need to reassure him that he got this. That this week, you know what? Sometimes shooting a simple text on a Monday morning, say, babe, you're about to murder this week. That right there puts the cape on and Superman comes alive.
Facts. Man. Woo. Yeah. Very well said, my brother. Yeah, I just said that added fuel, I feel invincible, and that Superman cape comes on. Listen, everyone, this is not DC or Marvel, but you get the analogy breaking things down, got the Wonder Woman's, but it's very true. I mean, the thing is that when you show the appreciation you care about your partner and you put in that mutual effort on a consistent basis by naturally showing your partner how much they mean to you, this creates a better bond, a better connection. And it also, those positive affirmations on how you are as a person, how much they mean to you, not taking them for granted. These are all great things in your relationships. And before I come to Carl, man, there's been times that, like I said, I have difficult days. Everyone have difficult days sometimes. We're not perfect. But what's great about her is that she'll turn those difficult days with positive affirmations. She'll be like, oh, how much DBDS is helping people. Oh, you having Nelly on the show. Great woman. You call Lamar, and it just turns the will's emotions and the energy is positive vibes. You see what I'm saying? And that's how she appreciates me and I appreciate her. So very well said. But Carl, what are your thoughts on this topic that reciprocating brings balance to the relationship?
Mhm.
Yeah, and the thing you don't want to do is be unbalanced.
Gotcha.
That's the first thing.
Mm.
So what we have to realize is, in most cases, opposites attract. There are some things that we may have in common, core values, characteristics, things like that. But usually, opposites attract a lot of different things. So Nelly said it, and Lamar both said it, the same thing. What is that person's love language, and do you know how to give it? Do you know how to, do you bring value, as Lamar said, to this relationship? And okay, so if you're doing that, are you really spending time understanding how to uh, reciprocate back to this person? And I think a lot of people feel like, well, because he did this, I'm gonna do that. Because she did this, I'm gonna do that. That's easy.
Right.
That's easy to
Right.
do. But you really going down to the nitty gritty? Are you intimately reciprocating? And I don't mean sex, but are you intimately reciprocating to your spouse, to your partner, who who you're involved with, on a daily basis? And it shouldn't be, because sometimes, I know some people sit and say, well, I feel like I'm not getting what I need.
Mhm.
And so the question is, have you expressed during the right time, the right tone, and the right context, text, the 3 T's, have you expressed yourself to your partner about what you need and how you need it? Because I think we have this false illusion, and again, this is why sometimes I hate some things to be on social media, these memes that, if he's a real man, you shouldn't have to tell him how to love you, and that's probably one of the dumbest things I've seen out there, and there's a bunch more. And it's probably was one of them Simpletonians that probably wrote it. But when you sitting here and you hear that, you're different. So the woman that I may have been in love with for 4 years was one way. Now I'm with you. I need to know how to value you. I need to know how to love you. I need to know how to care for you. So I need to know how to reciprocate to you, because which you may do something, and because my response is not what you want, now you're upset, but you're not telling me you're upset. And I think that's part of the communication process. But you want, like I said, in order to have that balance, you got to communicate. But if you have it and you're doing it, it's beautiful, because eventually it becomes so natural that you just start flowing with it, and the relationship flows. And again, the idea is to go two to become one. So if you're becoming one, you begin to flow in such a natural state of that balance of reciprocating. And it's just like, you're not waiting for him to pay the bills for you to say, you know what, I appreciate you getting up and going to work every day, Carl, and putting a roof over us and taking care of us and protecting us. You're not waiting for her to cook this meal, your favorite meal, and have the house clean for you to come home and say, babe, I appreciate you and everything that you do around the house. And, it comes in, the house smells so wonderful, and, and full of fragrance from the food that you cook. That's part of reciprocating without even thinking about it, because you're doing it because you care about this person, and why would you not, again, if you're becoming one, why would you not reciprocate back to your own self?
Man, woo, very well. Man, very well said. Man, I'm telling you, the thing is, the way that you describe it is on, just to use this as an analogy, but it's, if you're going out on that tennis court and you hit that ball across the net and she hits it back, it's like a very loving match between you two. It's not like you're going on the tennis court hitting the ball by yourself, getting drained and exhausted. So I love how you stated that. It's very, very important. And I'm going to touch on these these self gurus telling these people just to take. And
I just want to echo a little bit with Carl, because I think sometimes for women, we don't know how powerful our words are. I think that we think, oh, they'll just, we'll say something in anger or during a fight, and it'll be something that will really detrimentally hurt his image as a man. And so that's one thing that when I work with women, my ministry is geared with women, and just how important we literally water a man. We, in a way, it's like we stroke your mane. You're this, you're this, the lion. And so we have to really do that. And when we don't, it creates a deficit, and that's when someone else can then start stroking your man's mane. It's really complex sometimes to understand, but really one of the nuggets that I really want everyone to take is understanding how powerful your words are, even when you're kidding. Watch that kidding. Oh, I was just kidding. I say, I don't kid like that. Not there's some things we're just gonna leave alone.
Woo, man. You guys are gonna have me burn the studio down. I'm telling you. Very well said, Nelly. And that is so correct. I mean, if it's very combative and you're hitting that person below the belt with your words, sometimes that verbal abuse can be more impactful than the physicality, and it happens, so you're right, those words can be very, very bad if it's weaponized in the ways to hurt your significant partner. So listen, we're going to hit some comments right now. It's about that time. Listen, I see you guys in the chat room. I see you, John, Jason, Felicia, Jamal Lee. Thank you all for joining. Greatly appreciate you guys coming on board. So the first comment that we're going to pull up here, let's see. Let's get this one here.
So thank you, DBDS. I've been struggling with effort in my relationship, and I'm honestly desperate to find ways to make our relationship better for both me and my partner. This video really motivated me to become a better partner, so thank you.
Okay, appreciate you. Next comment. It's a long one.
Yeah, it's been a year since I'm in a relationship. It's been a year since I'm in a relationship. So I guess been in this relationship. Problem in our relationship, which has really started to bother me, is that I'm putting all my efforts, like surprising her with gifts, and planning our dates, even taking her to her favorite places for lunch, etc. But I get barely or minimum in return. One thing I feel is that she loves me, and this is my strong gut feeling. And even she has told me she's told me so, that she loves me. This is the sole reason I'm still in this relationship. But I don't know exactly how long I can hold this, as things have started to frustrate me from the inside. I need some suggestions as what should I do.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we can, whoever you want to go to, Mel. Here's the first thing. When we talk about love, people need to understand love is not a feeling. It's 10% feeling, it's 90% action. And I think this is part of the fact where people say, "Oh, I'm not in love with you anymore." It's not that you're not in love with the person, you're choosing not to love them. So I want to touch real quick on that part.
Gotcha.
So when she's saying she loves you, but is her actions lining up with her saying she loves you? Not just her words, but is her actions lining up? And like you said, you're doing everything. You're not getting anything in return. So you feel like you're being drained and sucked dry like a vampire, just taking all your blood out of you, and then there's nothing there. So in what way do you feel she loves you? Just keeping it real. What way do you feel that she loves you if her actions are nowhere lining up with that according to what you're saying? Because you can't if you love somebody, your actions will never be minimum.
Wow. Facts. Well said. Nelly, do you want to give this brother some quick advice?
So I wish I knew his name, but whoever this is, the first thing is that, like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? I am very straight, and I'll tell you to the point. You can love someone, but they're not good for you. My first suggestion, my first step is that you tell her exactly how you're feeling. Like, you don't hold anything back. There's sometimes people that are people pleasers and they avoid conflict. So you can't be afraid of losing her because you're going to stay stagnant in that fear. So you're going to have to be respectful. You're still going to use appropriate tones. You're not going to curse anyone out. That's not what we're doing, but we are getting our needs met. So that means you're being very direct. You're telling her exactly what you want, because some women just don't know. She'd be like, well, what exactly do you want me to do? She might say that. Well, then you give her, help her out. You might have to give her some suggestions, but at the end of the day, if you tell her, right, and you see that she might try it for a month, Carl, I know people will change, right, for the next 30 days, they'll do that, they'll go, and then she'll fall by the wayside again. And then you're
Mhm.
still feeling the exact same way. At that point, my suggestion is to love yourself more than you love anyone else, because the
Mm.
way that the relationship that you have with yourself you will find someone that will mirror that.
Right. I agree.
Wow, very well said. Lamar, what are your thoughts on this, and what advice you have for this brother?
All right. So let's put it like, let me just be straightforward. Stop looking for a return in your relationship.
Hmm.
And hear me out. Stop looking for a return if it's coming from a place of love and from your heart. You're looking for her to do so, and maybe that's not her character. Maybe that's just not how she is. Your way of showing love could be gifts and doing things. That's fine. Her way of love, of showing love and respect to you, may be a different way, and you got to accept that. Because you bring flowers does not mean she's gonna bring you dress socks. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you do something, do it from the heart, that you're not looking for a return.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because you're looking for something like, if I do this, she should do this, and that's not a relationship. Stop looking for a return. Do it because you want to do it, because your heart is telling you to do it. That's And then, what if something does come back? You're grateful, but if something don't come back, you did it from your heart. You didn't take out the trash because someone told you to take out the trash. You took out the trash because the trash needed to be taken out, and you took it out. So when you do something, do it because you want to do it. You're not looking for something to, oh, well, if she don't do it, I'm gonna stop doing it. No. Now you're hurting your relationship. Now you're like, what? Well, she's not doing the thing. But what is she doing?
Mhm.
Because she may not be buying you stuff. She may not be taking you out. But what is she doing? And now you're thinking, you're right, Elle. Well, she is doing this. She is doing that. That's her love language. We don't all have the same. Maybe the season she's in and her love language is not the same season you're in. You see, your season is gifts and doing things. Hers could be words of affirmation. Come on. So
Mm.
don't focus on what she's not doing. Appreciate what she is doing. If five things are going great in your life right now, in your relationship, focus on them five things. Focus on them five things. I promise you, because you start focusing on everything else what she's not doing. I promise you, you're going down a rabbit hole, and you don't want to do that. You
Mm.
got something good. She loves you. She loves you. In this world, in this society now, you got someone that loves you, and you're able to do stuff for her. I promise you, somewhere down the line, you lead by example. It will fall into place. But I promise you, if you focus on the good will become great. The great will become phenomenal. I promise you.
Okay, man. Okay, appreciate that. And brother, all I could tell you is, man, first, everyone valid points from the panel. But I believe love is a verb, and it's more than just telling someone you love them. It's also showing how much you love them. But what I would suggest is also to have an open, honest conversation with her and express on how you feel and that your needs are not being fulfilled, and see where it goes. Because if she truly cares, then of course she'll be willing to listen and understand where you're coming from. And also go to our dearbrothersdearsisters.com if you want to set up a one-on-one consultation. Okay. So I'm going to take one more comment. The last comment right here.
Society has such a twisted idea of love. It's two different people trying to
All right.
live the majority of their
Okay.
lives together. How could you think that's not going to take some serious effort? True.
Yeah. True. All right. And I don't know who that's from, but
Great show, my brothers.
Well, appreciate you watching to all the anonymous. Don't be shy. You can put your name. Yeah, but thank you all for tuning in. Great comments. So right about now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue this great conversation. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight. All right. Welcome back to the DBDS Live studio. I'm here with my sister, Nellie Johnson, my brother, Lamar Wilson, and my DBDS brother, Carl, the accountability coach. And we've been talking about why reciprocating can build a healthy relationship. And our next subtopic that we will touch on, which is also extremely important, is it shows that you care and appreciate your partner. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty common sense, but and basic, but a lot of people don't even realize that they're not reciprocating in this manner. So my thing is that when you have someone that is selfish and someone that is solely independent with that particular mindset, it comes across that you feel that person feels superior or are in control of that relationship compared to someone that is selfless. And one that has an interdependent mindset clearly states that they don't take their significant other for granted. And the reality is, when you express gratitude, it definitely builds a better connection and reinforce how much you appreciate your partner. So please, my brothers, listen, ignore the so-called love gurus out there that's advising you that a real man does everything for a non-committed woman by taking her on lavish trips, expensive restaurants, and the only way you can see her is a financial transaction without any reciprocation, which means you're clearly entertaining selfish energy and not feminine grace. And on the flip side, my sister, stop listening to these false narratives that in order for you to show that you want a serious relationship, that you have to sleep with him right away because you feel that you may lose him. Well, listen, I'm here to tell you to stop counting dates and start counting time that's invested and see if he's willing to peel back those layers to get to know you on a deeper level. So listen, Nelly, in these times, it seems that relationships are fast paced and they're only based on financial or physical transaction, but there's other important aspects, as I just mentioned. And I just want to hear your thoughts on how, being appreciative can build a healthy relationship.
Well, that's like one of the core foundational requirements, I think, for any healthy relationship is to be able to validate that person, to build admiration. John Gottman, he's this world-renowned marriage therapist, and he says admiration. You will want to reciprocate that love and affection when you admire and when you really love someone. What gets in the way of that is that you have people that are very self-centered and they're egotistical, and all you're doing is centered on you, and that you feel the woman that you were describing would be like someone that's like, well, you're lucky that I'm with you. Like they feel like somehow they're here and you're here. Maybe that's how they see it, because of looks or whatever reason. And so maybe she feels like you should be doing all these things for her. You see why there's that imbalance in someone's head. It might not be her, it might be his. But that's why it has to be a very reciprocated with respect, value, to make sure that both of their needs are met.
Very well said, my sister. Some of those two key terms that you hit at the end, Nelly, respect and value, those are those traits that are very important because so many people that goes into relationships. Sure, a man's deep voice or his muscles or his tattoos or a woman's curvy body or her outside appearance. Yeah, they're attractive, but those are not the key elements for a healthy relationship that will last. Can that person communicate effectively? You're right. Do they respect me?
Mhm.
Are they a good listener? Are they loyal? Things of that nature. So I'm glad you brought that up. Next, I'm coming to my brother Lamar. Man, what are your thoughts on this topic, my brother?
I mean, just to piggyback on what you just said, I mean, honestly, it builds better foundation. It builds
Mm,
better communication. Your relationship is not just your relationship. Your relationship, you understand that what you and your spouse are building is being displayed in front of your kids, in front of your friends and your family. So the things that you do internally in your relationship, and it shows publicly,
mm,
by the simple things, Nelly, by just saying thank you for going to pick up, groceries by yourself, and you didn't call me 50 times and ask me what was that? The simple things of just saying good morning. The simple thing, the littlest things have the biggest impact.
mm,
The littlest things have the biggest impact because you never know what internally something that someone's not saying and they dealing with. And so with me and my marriage, I have learned that I'm not here to say that's I came into this marriage like that. No, I had to
mhm,
learn that the simple things is not just holding the door. That they teach you that in school,
mhm.
to hold the door. That's no. We're talking about real relationships. We're talking about real marriage. Where we're talking about the simple. Thank you for making dinner.
There you
Thank
go.
you for cooking. Thank you for washing my clothes. Thank you for folding them. You know what? Let me put them away. You cook, I'ma clean. You wash, I'ma fold. I'ma make the bed because
Mm,
I want to make the bed. I'm a clean the bathroom because I want to clean the bathroom. Oh, thank you for making my lunch. The littlest things have the biggest impact. And I promise you, small steps, great distance. You keep doing these little things in your relationship and in your marriage, I promise you, those are gonna outlast any issues y'all have. But
mm.
you got to do the little steps, the little things. I promise you, it's just saying a text. I appreciate you, Nelly. Call. Just want to let you know you're being thought about.
Mm,
Those little things. I promise you that you don't know what someone's dealing with. So when you take the time and say, T, I just want to let you know everything that you do is always being watched.
And can I just echo what you're saying? And I'm going to be very transparent with all your viewers in here. I was married for
mhm,
14 years, and
mhm,
we ended up in divorce. And one of my places of deficiency, I think, was that in addition to having a mouthpiece, I'm, that was something that I tell women now, like, it's the way that you deliver information as well. But one of the things that I've learned post divorce, 14 years, you think about it, and is that I didn't have healthy models. I didn't know what a marriage was supposed to look like. Everything, Lamar, you're saying now, it's like, that's why shows like this are so important, because it teaches. I was 21 getting married, he was 20. Can you imagine? Like, we were two just uneducated. We didn't know how to have a marriage, the how to. That's why these
mm,
shows and having coaches and doing what you're doing, advising people, is so important to even our younger generations that are getting married. I
mm,
just didn't know how, and I had never seen a healthy marriage in my life, period. I just hadn't.
mm. And Nelly, I appreciate your vulnerability by saying that and sharing that because yes, you are right. I mean, there's a lot of people that have that trial and error because they don't have the healthy models up there. I mean, these days, um, some of our celebrities and famous people, their marriage don't even last for
Right.
what, 2 months or something like that. these publicity stunts and things of that nature. So it's not a great, healthy outlook on things. And when you look on TV shows, I don't even get me there going there, but these reality shows definitely does not have a healthy basis to show. You know, we came a long way from the Huxtables. I'll just say it like that. So next, I'm coming to my brother Carl, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Two things, and like I said, I'll circle back to really answer this. One thing is, make sure you're not keeping account of what you've done and waiting for your partner to catch up. And so many times people will, well, I did this, and this, and you haven't done this. Don't keep accountants. You know,
Right.
Love does not keep accountants. If we understand scripture, it does not. So don't be counting on what you've done and they haven't done. The other thing is, what I do see a lot of times is people will show much more affection and appreciation and reciprocation to their friends versus their spouse. And they'll go all out. You know, you'll go all out for your girlfriends on their birthday for the whole month. You know, they celebrate their birthday for the whole month. That's a woman thing. I know men, we don't do that. But using this example, but you're willing to go to every birthday event she has for the entire month. But then when your husband's birthday comes up, here's a card. And you throw that in the bed. Just keeping it real. I dealt with it when I was married. So just keeping it real. Wasn't a big deal. It was, you know what I'm saying? So when you understand that aspect, and just using it to be versus men, don't, you know, go do whatever with your homeboys and go out and you're doing your golf trips and doing all this other stuff. And then when it comes time to do a trip with your wife, you're like, oh, well, you planned it. But you planned this whole golf trip or you hang out with the guys to go to the All-Star game or whatever. So understand, you know, if you can give that level of appreciation and care and show all this stuff to your friends or even your relative, your family members who are outside now, they're secondary than your spouse, that's a problem. And that's something, but it shows you have the ability to do it. So, you know, Lamar said it best too, you know, and even though, I mean, just the little stuff. This, like I said, thank you. I appreciate this. It's not always about doing something, but when somebody knows that you appreciate the things that you're doing and you're appreciated, and I'm speaking for men, really, when we are told those things, there's not a brick wall we can't run through. I'm just keeping it real.
Oh, I feel invincible, man.
That ego stroke, that, you know what, I know it's tough out there. And I'm just keeping it 100 as a black man. Every time we walk out the door, we may not come home. That's the world country we live in. And to no fault of our own. But to know I'm appreciated when I come home means a lot. Not come through the door, oh, the garbage disposal's not working. Oh, you've got to put to come through the door and say, hey, I'm glad you made it home safely. I'm glad you're back home. I'm glad you were protected out there so you can protect the household when you get home. Those little things there. Men, same thing. You know, everything she's doing and going out, she's caring for the kids. Also, how hard is it for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get the kids ready for bed tonight. You go put your feet up. In fact, I'm going to go run in your bath. And I got your wine sitting on the side of the tub. I got a little old school R&B playing. Enjoy yourself.
Keep sweating, man.
I'm going to go ahead and get the kids ready for bed and do the homework with them. You rest. It's just simple stuff. But we're so busy worried about counting what we've done versus not seeing what they're going through, that it causes a disconnect. And then you're upset and frustrated because they don't do. Because see, I'd rather you not do it than to do it out of anger. Because then you can't even enjoy them doing for you.
Wow.
So communicate, talk. And this is that vetting process. I keep telling people don't know how to vet when they're dating. And so if you're the type of person that needs a certain level of reciprocation, have that conversation. have that conversation. This is what I need. And I tell people, I said, when I was married for 20 plus years before we got divorced. And I tell people, I lost myself within my marriage. I did, because I did. And I did, and I did, and I grinded. Everything was about making sure she was happy, making sure our sons were good. And I lost my identity. So as I come out of that, and I had to look at myself and see what I did wrong, what I could have done better, how I could have been a better husband, how I could have been a better father, all those things I looked at. And then I realized, okay, what do I need for my next relationship?
Right.
Who is Carl now? Who is Carl post-divorced? What do I need? And I can articulate that to anyone. And then they have a choice to either say they can do it or they can't. And if they say they can't and I continue to entertain them, I have nobody but myself to blame. Not them. So if I'm not getting the reciprocation, they already said they weren't capable of doing it. I chose to entertain them. So these are the conversations I think a lot of people fear having, because they see somebody, oh, he's handsome, oh, she's beautiful, and we don't want to lose them.
Right.
Not realizing that they're no good for us. Doesn't mean they're not a good person.
Right.
They're just not good for us.
You know, Carl, two things. One, like you said, vetting out things in your relationship. That's a need. That's a need. Because if you don't vet it out, if your concern is you're gonna lose that person, or you're gonna, if I vet out some stuff, I'm not gonna, me and her, we're not gonna have that grown up time together, like, then you're losing. You want to vet out all this stuff now, because what don't bother you now, but it's still an issue. The little things, like, oh, well, I'll look past that. 13, 20 plus years later, that's going to be the biggest problem. Because that little attitude you think he got or she got, or that little mouth that on her or on him, and you're like, oh, I don't want to mess up my grown-up time. I don't want to miss this. I don't want to ruin this relationship because it's good. Everything else is good. But then over a son, it's like, I don't like the way you talk to me. Well, I've been talking to you like that for years. What's the change now? So lay out the foundation now. The first date, you should not be trying to get intimate on the first date. You should not be. Those are the things that you in a healthy relationship. Being intimate. I'm gonna go there. I'm about to go there. Being intimate shouldn't be anything you should be thinking about within 90 days. The reason why I'm saying that, because you're messing up the relationship if that's your main focus, because she got a good body. Oh, he got a good job. Oh, he do this. Oh, she got that. Oh, and it's like, okay, now you're basing your relationship on money.
There you go.
And sex.
Yeah.
And you done lost the relationship, because now you don't put all the things that that kind of bother you. You don't put that to the side because you don't want to mess up your little booty. Yeah. I know it hurt right now. I know, but I'm going to continue. And that's your problem. You're getting in these relationships and you're basing your decisions on booty, on money, and not the relationship. So let me tell you this. Another thing is that in the relationship, when it comes to a person, two people, it's a need. It's a need.
Right.
And cats, a need that we remind ourselves we matter. We add value, we are loved, and we add purpose. 4 things. It's a need. The 5th is need. I need to feel this. I need to be reminded. I need this. You cannot tell me when I'm at my lowest, that's when it's needed. No, I need it even when I'm already know I need this. That's where it is. So when you move forward from this podcast and you go into your relationship, remind yourself there's a need, and you got to have that conversation with yourself first. What do I need? and what the need, and then I need to tell my spouse, this is my need, but just not my need. What is your need?
Right.
Because it's not just about you. It starts with you, but it has to end with y'all. It's a me, you, and us. Me, you equals us.
Man, very well said, man. So listen, we're going to take a couple of more comments based on time constraints and everything because our show is going over. It's such a good. We have to do a part 2. We definitely have to do a part 2. So I'll come to this first comment here from. Let's go to this brother right here.
A little twist to the topic, DBDS. We don't compliment others enough either. A colleague and I talked about this issue recently. Both appreciation and validation are powerful in building relationships, whether personal, family, or professional.
True. I agree. Well said. Okay.
But Floyd, I believe that if the environment is healthy, then everything in that environment will grow and prosper. A toxic environment can only produce toxic results. True.
Totally agree.
Okay. Small gestures increase empathy, intimacy, and a sense of security and well-being. Don't keep count, just be authentic.
Great comment. All right, I'll take a couple of more.
Hey, Dr. Watson.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Dr. Watson, we need you back on the show. Absolutely.
We are to be of service to each other, but if you are a selfish individual, then you are only looking to get out of the relationship, which you can. Love itself is not difficult. We are the ones that, I guess, that make it difficult. Yeah, I'm probably part. And selflessness over selfishness. Yes.
There you go.
Good evening. I believe that if both parties are so focused on consistently and naturally cherishing each other with acts of kindness without keeping a record, both tend to feel love.
Okay. Thank you. I will go to other comments, but due to the constraints of the show, we will do a part 2. You know, I would definitely check with my sister Nelly and Lamar, but we got to do a part 2. So we're going to take one more commercial break. When we come back, that's right, our Jerry Springer moment. So sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I am here with my sister Nelly, my brother Lamar, and my brother Carl, the accountability coach, and we've just been talking about why reciprocating can build healthy relationships. By the way, an amazing show. Also, if you did not get a chance to watch this show, it does come on a replay portion. You can enjoy this episode on the Pure Moment Network. And this is, if you have the Roku device, it's very similar to Amazon Stick. You can just go up there, type in DBDS, and not just our show, but a host of other great entertaining and educational programs is on that network. So check us out up there. Besides the Pure Moment Network, we are also available on Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Spotify, you name it, Anchor. So make sure you add us on so that way you can continue to get these nuggets. Because listen, I mean, this information is very valuable. It's priceless, right? Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification button. So that way, that's another way of showing your love and support. But now it's time to pivot to our Jerry Springer moment, where we share our final thoughts for today's show. And first, I am coming to my sister Nelly. Give the people who's watching your final thoughts for today's show.
It starts with the relationship you have with yourself. I think that if you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you can mirror that and you will attract the right person. There's so many people that have toxic relationships because they have a toxic relationship with themselves.
Okay, very well said, my sister. I greatly appreciate final thoughts. And now I'm coming to my brother Lamar. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
There's so many, but I'm gonna leave you with this. Always want to be in your relationship. Oh, no matter what happens, always want to add to your relationship. Okay, don't look for something back. Always say, I'm doing this because I want to do it. So always look at your relationship as something you always want to be in, and you will come out great.
Love that, man. And to my brother Carl, the accountability coach, what an engaging show, man. We have to definitely do a part 2. What are your final thoughts, my man?
Yeah, absolutely. Great show. Appreciate Nelly and Lamar. I mean, awesome nuggets, just dropping it for us tonight. Biggest thing for me, takeaway tonight, I'm going to say is, know who you are and what you need. That's the biggest thing. Know who you are and what you need. And then if you're in a relationship and you're not getting what you need, have a sit down conversation. Just ask. Make sure they're in a good place. Make sure they're in a good space. And have again, why do we choose not to have difficult conversations when we have to have them in order to, if we say we want to be with this person, if we really love this person, we care about this person. And then the last thing is, I keep saying, don't count. If you do 10 things and they do 4, don't count what they're doing. How is that 4 affecting you? Because 4 things may benefit you better and they need the 10 things, and truly learn and understand your partner's love language and then how they receive it. Because just because somebody says, well, I need words of affirmation, there may be a different way to do it. It may be you leaving sticky notes in their car or on the mirror in front of them, or writing a note or sending a different text versus saying it to them. Different things of that nature. So just understand your individual. Again, if you're looking to build with someone, why do you not want to know every intimate detail about them? And I think that's why so many relationships end up ending, because people just get to the surface, stop at the flesh, and don't dive deeper.
Woo. I mean, always killing it, man. You sure you wasn't rhyming before, man? Before you became a
Nah.
All right. And listen, I would just want to thank this amazing panel. I'm just gonna break down my final thoughts. So now, for a strong, healthy relationship, reciprocation is extremely important, and you have to make sure what level or what type of reciprocation you're expecting from your partner to make sure their needs and your needs is being fulfilled. And normally, we talked about this during the sound check, but there are 3 different aspects when it comes to reciprocation. The first one is the balanced reciprocation, which means the act of giving something and expecting something specific in return, right? For example, if he takes you out shopping, you may want to make him an amazing dinner, right? Now, the second one is the generalized reciprocation. And this is the art of giving freely without expecting anything in return, aside from someone's goodwill. And in this view, this is not a give and take relationship. This is a give and give type of relationship. We have a deep level of trust with your significant partner. And the last one is the negative reciprocation. And these are the entitlement and selfish people within these relationships. These are the ones that just want lavish gifts, expensive vacations. They just want to take without reciprocating. They want you to be on the tennis court hitting the ball by yourself. No, in other words, they are giving you minimum to none in return, only to receive something in greater value, which is the complete opposite of a healthy relationship. So make sure you're aware of the 3 phases, which will give you a base premise as to where you stand in your relationship. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the PBS family.
Take it away, Mel.